Crime and punishment tonight. The battle over a big-ticket reward promised last month during a manhunt that gripped the nation. Rogue ex-cop Christopher Dorner was on the run in California. Now, 3 people had already been gunned down. Authorities were desperate for leads. Dorner, who was fired by the LAPD in 2009, had made his intentions clear in a rambling manifesto. You remember all this. He was on a mission of revenge, heavily armed not only with guns, but also years of police and military training. Dorner's killing spree ended, of course, in the San Bernardino National Forest, but only after the trail grew cold and $1 million reward was offered. Well, tonight, some of the donors who promised to pony up, they're backing out, and it's not clear who, if anyone, will actually get whatever reward remains. We're going to more on that in a moment, but first, how the endgame played out. Here's Kyung La.
Control 61 Winter, sound like one shot fired from inside the residence.
It wasn't clear just yet, but this would be the beginning of the end for Christopher Dorner. His reign of terror targeting and terrorizing California police and their families for days on end.
A burned-out truck near Big Bear Lake, about 100 miles east of Los Angeles, belongs to Christopher Jordan Dorner.
It was day 5 of Dorner on the loose, but now police had a solid lead. Big Bear became ground zero in the hunt. The mayor turned to the citizens of Los Angeles to help catch a killer.
Leaders from throughout the region, including leaders from businesses and unions, government, law enforcement, and community groups, came together to pool resources and protect our core value of public safety. Collectively, this group, led by my office, is posting a reward of $1 million for information that will lead to Mr. Dorner's capture.
Tips came flooding in. As leads were followed up, the hunt moved into day 6 and then day 7, and then another major break. Not far from Dorner's burned-out truck, Jim and Karen Reynolds walked into their apartment and into Christopher Dorner's hideout. He tied them up.
Once he got it bound, then he went out to the bathroom real quick, which was real close, and came back with a couple of washcloths, stuck one in each of our mouths.
Dorner stole their vehicle. After he escaped, Karen Reynolds managed to call for help.
And he left my cell phone right on the coffee table, right there. And I sat down and was able to scoot around and work with it and call 911.
Moments later, 2 California Fish and Wildlife wardens spotted Dorner driving. He crashed his car, then fled on foot, escaping again. Camp Ranger Rick Heltebrake was the next to encounter him.
I realized it was Christopher Dorner, and I saw a vehicle crashed in the snow behind him, and he came up to the window of my truck with his gun pointed at me, and he said, "I don't want to hurt you, just get out, start walking, and take your dog."
Those shots were from Dorner, directed at Fish and Wildlife officers. Dorner sped away, but was forced to abandon Heltebrake's truck. He ran towards a cabin and barricaded himself in. Police quickly surrounded it. They finally cornered their target. A local CBS reporter captured the scene when Dorner opened fire on San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies.
Shots fired, 455 shots fired.
One deputy was wounded, another killed.
But a short time later, we see smoke coming from the cabin. Later, we see heavy fire.
Then a single shot from inside the cabin.
The information that we have right now seems to indicate that the wound that took Christopher Dorner's life was self-inflicted.
A 9-day saga, 4 lives lost, ends with a single gunshot and one big controversy that isn't settled yet. Kyung La, CNN, Los Angeles.
As we said tonight, some of the donors who promised to contribute reward money are now having second thoughts. They say that's because Dorner died during the standoff. The reward is moot. In their view, the terms of the reward weren't met because Dorner wasn't captured or convicted. Meantime, 2 claims for the reward, they have been filed by the couple that were tied up in their apartment by Dorner and by the camp ranger whose truck Dorner carjacked. They say the calls they made led authorities to the killer. Joining me now is John Miller, senior correspondent for CBS This Morning and the former counterterrorism chief for the Los Angeles Police Department, also Los Angeles City Councilman Dennis Zine. Councilman, to those authorities like the Riverside Police Department who say that the reward money will not be paid because the conditions weren't met, what do you say?
I say we're deceiving the public. We can't promise something and then not deliver. And the question is, if we make a promise and make a commitment, we must deliver that. There's a matter of credibility, a matter of integrity and honesty, transparency. In Los Angeles, we're going to deliver whomever is entitled to that reward. It's being investigated by the robbery homicide of LAPD. When it comes to us, we will deliver what we promised to deliver.
John, do you think somebody deserves that reward?
No, I don't think anybody deserves this reward as it was constructed. What you're looking for when you offer a reward of that size is you're looking for the cousin who's going to say, I'm going to give up my cousin. You're looking for the guy that helped him hid out, who's willing to sell him out. You're looking for the alert citizen who spotted the license plate or saw him in a line at the deli. In one case, you've got people who walked in and found out that he'd burglarized their home, he held them at gunpoint and then escaped, and they called the police. In another case, you have a guy who was carjacked by him and called the police. That's different than the intent of the reward, which was to incentivize either someone who knew information because they consorted with him or somebody who was a very observant citizen to come forward. On the other hand, there's another issue here, and that is the credibility of the reward process. It's not this time. It's the next time they offer $1 million reward for something. You don't want people out there, whether they're in the criminal element or the public, questioning whether that reward is going to get paid.
You're saying essentially, while someone may not deserve it, they should probably pay it out just for the
Anderson, nobody deserves this reward based on that criteria, and they should pay it anyway. And the fact is that Kirk Albanese, the chief of detectives of the LAPD, has a working group with the 30 contributors there, so nobody's going to take that one big hit. It's divided up around enough organizations that they should pony up and pay.
Councilman, do you agree that John's right that no one necessarily deserves it, but they should pay it out? Because it'll have a detrimental effect it might have.
There's theory and then there's a reality. The theory is no one was arrested, no one was convicted. The reality is the apprehension, the death of Mr. Dorner took place. And if we don't maintain credibility with the public, then future rewards will be laughed at. And Mr. Miller, who I know from his time at the LAPD, is accurate on that situation. But the reality is we made a promise, we made a commitment, and every reward that would be published after this, people would question, are you serious? Or are you just trying to lure us in and then walk away? We can't do that. We can't have deception, and a lot of people would view this as deception. The city council posted a $100,000 reward. We're committed on that reward. The $1 million came from a variety of public sectors. That's being reviewed. But we are committed to the $100,000 that we committed to because we want to live by the word, live by the truth, and live by the integrity. It's the integrity of the system that's in question when this issue then comes up.
Councilman, do you have, of the two claims, one who you think is more deserving, or do you leave that up to others?
We're leaving that up to the robbery homicide of the LAPD. The robbery homicide section's investigating. They'll go through the process. It'll ultimately come to us. But we're committed to living up to our concept of honesty, reality, and the $100,000.
Do you agree with that? Kind of leave it up to them?
I think, you know, there are 30 contributors, and the idea that they came together to offer it, and that some of them now are making independent decisions away from the group is a problem. I think that they should take the guidance of the lead agency here, which is the LAPD.
Right. John Miller, always good to have you on. Councilman, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next, big news.